These might be some of the best words that you've heard all day. Come to lay on your mat. We're going to start with our legs long and just getting comfortable on the floor. So you might need a moment to have a little fidget. You might need a moment to decide if you need something underneath your head. And you might need a moment to see how this feels on your lower back. If it is much too uncomfortable on that lower back, please do bend your knees up and have your feet flat on the floor to take the pressure off. Those of you that can keep the legs long, stay there for a moment. And just start to notice your breath. And just because I've said the word breath doesn't mean it needs to change. But notice what it is like at the beginning of your practice. Is it full? Is it long? Are you even breathing? And then here, keeping the legs long. If you have bent them, please rejoin us here. We're going to be moving rather than staying still now. Let the right knee turn in. So the whole of the right leg will go into internal rotation. And then allow that leg to roll out into external rotation. It turns in. You'll feel the thigh bone moving, the shin bone, and the foot. And just rolling in and out, noticing, does the knee want to buckle when you go into internal rotation? And then noticing that let go as you go to external. The next time that you're in external rotation, stay there and slide the heel up towards your sit bone. So your knee will end up in external rotation. And then roll that knee up towards the ceiling. And it's going to go across your body. It does not have to go far. You're keeping the right foot on the floor. You might feel that right hip just lifting away from the mat. And then allow the right knee to roll out into external rotation again and slide the leg long. We go internal with the leg long, external, slide the heel up towards you. We go internal with the knee bent and external. And just one more time, sliding that leg long, internal, external, slide, and then internal. And then bring the knee towards the ceiling. You're going to pause here. Just having a little wiggle through the foot to make sure it's that right underneath your sit bone. From here, we're pressing that right foot down into the mat and your right knee reaches forwards. So glance down and make sure it's going forwards and not across to the side. And then allow that hip to melt back down. And really find that moment of melt. Everything lets go. One more time, pressing that foot into the ground. The knee reaches forwards, so we get the contraction of your glute, the rotation of your pelvis, and then allow the pelvis to melt back down. Then that knee can go into external rotation and slide the leg long. Lay here for just a moment and notice what you notice. You might feel you need to fidget or readjust. And then whenever you're ready, the same with the left-hand side. Internal rotation with that thigh bone, and then external. When you're next in external rotation, slide the heel up towards you. Bring that knee towards the ceiling and over to the right into internal rotation. Allow the knee to come back up. The knee goes out to the side and slide the leg long. We go internal and external. Sliding the heel up towards you, mind squeaking on the mat. Internal and external. And last one. This time that knee will come up. It goes up towards the ceiling and you're placing that left foot onto the floor. Press the left foot down to reach that left knee forwards. Glancing down at the knee to make sure that you are, and then melting that hip back to the mat. Find that moment of melt before you go again. You press down through that left foot, that rotates your pelvis. And then melting that hip back to the mat. Allow the left knee to turn out and slide away from you. With both legs long, notice again what you notice compared with where you started. Maybe notice your breath now. And then whenever you're ready, you're welcome to stay there for a moment if you needed. Slide one heel up towards you and the knees in external rotation. Then bring the knee to the ceiling. Same with the other side, it slides up and out to the side, and then up to the ceiling. So now here you've got both knees pointing towards the ceiling. This time you press both feet into the ground, so the whole pelvis rolls back, flattening your lower back into the mat. And then allow that to release and let the pelvis tip forwards towards your tailbone, going into your arching. Again, both feet press into the mat. We did single leg before, which rotates you. Now you're in double, and that rolls the pelvis. Maybe noticing what's happening here as you do. And then allow the pelvis to become heavy on the floor. Wiggle your feet wide, so not any wider than your mat. Your arms can always come out to the sides into the T shape or even a little bit higher to give you a bit more opening through the pecs. And allow both legs to roll across to the right hand side. Look over that left shoulder. Breathe in and use your exhale to come back to the center. Your exhale again takes you the other way to the left. You look over the right shoulder. You're inhaling and then use that exhale to come back. One more to each side. Of course, you could do a million if you wanted to. And then over to the left. You come all the way back to the center and wiggle the legs back in. Slide your arms down by your sides and then float the arms up towards the ceiling. Rather than a double shoulder shrug with both arms reaching for the ceiling, you're going for single. So reaching through the left arm, the left shoulder blade will lift up off the floor. Melt that shoulder blade back down. And it's only once you've found that moment of melt and heaviness through that shoulder blade that you can reach with the other arm. So now my right arm reaches for the ceiling and melts back down. Find that moment of melt, and then the same on the left. It melts towards the floor. And the right one. and melting. One more on each side, never forcing, never making it happen. You're allowing that to happen. And once again, when that right shoulder blade is heavy, bring the arms back down to the mat and see how that feels through your shoulders. From here, you're rolling the arms towards you. So they go into internal rotation, similar to what we did with the legs. And then allow the arms to roll away from you. The palms will turn up towards the ceiling. Maybe that little finger keeps coming towards the ceiling. And again, internal rotation. So you might see your shoulders come up into the corner of your vision, and then let those arms roll away from you. The palms turn up. And keep going. The shoulders lift from the floor, and then they're melting back. Maybe noticing if one arm's got a little bit more rotation than the other. And then when you're next in external rotation, palms up towards the ceiling, pause for a moment and allow your lower back to arch. So you're opening through the front body. Then, as your pelvis rolls back, you're flattening that lower back and internally rotating the arms. Your inhale allows everything to roll open, so arching the lower back, the palms turn towards the ceiling, and then roll the arms towards you as you flatten. Internal rotation. And keep going just a couple more times. Maybe you feel the more you do, the more movement you start to get, the more release, the more connection through your front body. And then with that coordination of the arms, we're adding one last thing. So let the arms and the pelvis be heavy and the arms slide out into a T shape. So no higher than your armpits this time. So look to one side and you should just be looking down towards your palm rather than looking up towards it. From there, your feet are going to wiggle wide. And just find the coordination with the arms at first. So your left palm is going to turn down towards the ground as the right palm turns up. And then go the other way. The right palm turns down, the left turns up. And keep just trying to figure that out. I'm going to show you here as well. So my hands are out to the sides. One palm turns up as the other goes down. So it creates this rotation through the arms, wringing out the arms. Yeah. And if you really can find the coordination with it, the legs will roll to the side that the palm turns down. Your head turns to palm up. So you're always looking at palm up. You use that exhale to come back to the center and go over the other way. Looking at palm up. Breathing, because there's a lot of concentration going on. And think of the arms spiraling. They're spiraling away from you. The legs are spiraling your pelvis. You might find that you're wiggling down the bed or down your mat, which is fine. And then once you come back to the center, slide the arms back down by your sides and lengthen the legs long. This is where you might realize you come down the mat. And lay again and notice what you notice. So partly where your legs are in contact with the mat, where your lower back might be in contact with the mat, your shoulder blades, and even your palms. So especially now I've done that arm work, your arms just might naturally fall to a slightly different place to where you started. And then notice your breath. Notice whether that is a fuller breath, whether it's a longer breath, or whether you are breathing. Enjoy.